G'day guys, Rukshania. Thanks for joining me for this quick little video just to talk to you about this image that's been circulated around and lots of conspiracy theories building up around how this image may have been manipulated, with some people saying it's completely fake and AI generated, whereas others are pointing to certain flaws with Photoshop. Now, I'll give you my take based on experience working as a wedding photographer and editor for about 14 years now. And I have my own views on all of this, which I'll share with you. So Kate Middleton 2024 Mother's Day photo killed after Associated Press alleges that image was manipulated. The Associated Press issued a kill order for the photo released by Kensington Palace on Sunday, citing concerns of manipulation. So this was originally released by the Princess of Wales on her Twitter, so officially from the palace. And if you're looking at this from a distance, it looks like just a happy snap family shot there with Kate and the kids, and you can't really tell too much about any kind of manipulation on this. But of course, there's a lot of speculation right now regarding her health and all types of other conspiracy theories related to this. So, of course, keen-eyed observers online have taken a closer look at this with a microscope and found all types of inconsistencies in the photos. So, it's quite interesting. It's a bizarre story. I wouldn't normally cover something like this, but a lot of people have told me, based on your experience as a wedding photographer, Rukshan, you're not really a journalist. That's what they say to me. Maybe you can give some expert advice. Finally, that's within your realm. So let me attempt to do this. Now, this is a kill order that was issued by the Associated Press. Now, this is not quite out of the ordinary as well to see this type of notification, especially when it comes to an official image released by a royal family, right? And they're saying to remove this image because it's a manipulated image, and they're not wrong. I think there are issues here around the manipulation of this image, and this in itself builds up another story for the Associated Press and the media, because all of a sudden now, with all of this fake image that's gone viral, right, from the royals, has in itself become a story. So what's really going on here? The best way to look at all of this is to actually launch into Photoshop myself. So this is the image, and someone else is on Twitter has gone through the image and circled parts of the image where they think there is some type of manipulation going. Now, the biggest thing here is obviously they've circled lots of stuff around hands, which some people are saying are AI generated. I'll get to that as well. And they've got bits and pieces of clothing which don't seem to match. And the shoes they're saying is slightly different. There's all these oddities that they've found. Now, in our age where we're seeing a lot of AI generated images, it's plausible for a lot of people that may not have seen this type of editing, especially done so poorly, to assume that this is the job and the work of AI. But I actually think, after looking closely, especially at the areas around the hands, as a photo editor, when I'm looking very closely at this area where you're seeing this kind of, it's almost been erased out and there's like another layer below it, this just looks like a really crappy, shoddy Photoshop job. Now, the official story is that William actually took these images. Now, I'm not sure if he edited them himself. I can't imagine the royal family, William himself, dabbling into Photoshop or some sort of photo editor on his phone and trying to manipulate an image in the fashion it's been done here. I mean, maybe he's giving it a go. That would be interesting in itself. It seems more likely that this was sent to the office. That's the royal family's office, whoever's in charge of looking after it, and that social media team or whoever put stuff online. The DEI hire there most likely thought it would be a good idea to manipulate this image to edit it. For whatever reason, I have my opinions on this and I'll share that with you, but thought it would be a good idea to manipulate this image before it's sent to the public. So, of course, it's going to be labeled as the royal family put this image out, that Prince William and Princess Kate put this out, but more likely their DEI palace photo editor, who probably does a whole heap of other things, is the one that decided to make this catastrophic in a way in terms of a PR mistake, because it is just a drama that doesn't need to be there. So why do I think it's poor editing? I'm just going to show you what's happened here. My belief is, normally when we do portrait photos or sometimes even wedding photos, there's people, usually a drunk uncle or someone like this, their eyes are closed in the family portraits. And, as a photo editor, sometimes you would know, if you're also in the photo editing, especially around events, you are requested, if you can, to open up people's eyes. And one way of doing that is usually a photographer will take multiple photos of the same thing. And what we generally do is we'll stack the photos on top of each other and find one where everyone's eyes are open, or that particular individual's eyes are open. And then we'll put it on top of each other, layer it up, and erase one of the layers. this actually allows you to create a perfect aesthetically pleasing family portrait or image of that nature that is believable, because it's a real image that you've taken, but you're just kind of combining elements together to make an aesthetically pleasing image. Now, in the ordinary world, not many people will take notice of something like that happening. And that is because most people are looking at that type of image close up with a microscope. So a lot of photographers will get away with this type of editing. And if you're really good as a photo editor, obviously you can do it in such a way and with such fine attention to detail that it's almost impossible to tell. So I believe that's what's happened here based on the types of mistakes that I'm seeing in this image. And to illustrate this, I've taken 2 images of myself just so people that can understand what's going on here. So the first image is this one here of Rukshan, and I like my hand signal there. You can see what I'm doing there with my hand signal. I like that, but I'm not smiling. I don't look happy. And so I've got this image that I've taken straight after where I'm smiling. So I prefer this smiling face, obviously, that I want to put out into the public. So what do you do about this as a editor if you've given such a request? So you take this image, you would select it all, you'll copy it, you'll paste it on top of this image as another layer. And this is pretty funny that I'm doing a Photoshop tutorial. It's a really simple way to do it is you just create a mask here. You click on the mask, you go to your brush tool, you make sure that you've got the erase layer on the black, and then you will literally just erase away your face here. And you can see, there you go, Rukshan smiling, and I've got the pose that I want now. But if you go close into this, you can actually spot where some of these kind of mistakes come out, right? Where you see the edges aren't perfect. You see these weird problems. Now, I'm just showing you a very quick example of me doing this where I want to make myself smile, and I just turn the layers on and off. So this is, I believe, what has happened in this image. But whoever's done this has done a really crappy, shoddy job and put it out to the public and created a PR nightmare, which is now turned into a conspiracy of sorts. And look, I definitely understand why people are saying that it looks like it's AI, because these days we're always talking about AI images. I definitely get all that. I definitely understand why people are looking at these hands and saying these are AI generated hands. But AI generated hands usually are much worse than this, especially if they're generated from the get-go in generative AI. It's a lot worse than this. And these kids are doing weird hand signals. All right, all that stuff is fine, but I think you can do these hand signals as I have actually shown myself. You can actually do this type of pose. It's not very hard to do. Maybe some people can't do it. These shoes here, yes, there's some inconsistencies, but I think some of that comes from the brushing off effect. So these images that are layered on top would have looked exactly or very similar. Now, this shoe here, someone's saying that that's the heel, but if you look really close, it looks like potentially some sort of tassel that's hanging off on the outer side. So there could be another one that's here as well that we can't see. So there's lots of explanations for all of this. I understand why it's interesting, of course, conspiracy as well. Yes, there is potential possibility that this head here was something different. It's possible. I mean, I haven't seen the originals. They haven't released anything like that. So yes, there could be multiple images stitched together. But yes, I don't believe at least that this is at all AI generated. I just think it's a really crappy Photoshop job. Anyway, guys, that's first time I'm doing a Photoshop type tutorial. Let me know if you want me to discuss more of my Photoshop skills and talk about my time working in the wedding industry. I've even had requests to put dead relatives into photos. I mean, in a nice way. I'm just not trying to make light of it, but we do all sorts of weird style editing that we make it look very believable. And in this instance, very simple editing request here, possibly not made by the family, most likely made by someone in their social media team, maybe just to get the kids all smiling the same, maybe to get the best reaction. Because when you're photographing children, sometimes it's the hardest, especially if you don't get it in the shot, especially multiple groups of kids together, you can never quite get their reaction. So if you do a lot of family photographs and kids photos, you might end up using these type of techniques. Anyway, that's it for my Photoshop tutorial. I will be back with my daily news vlog this week. Thanks, guys. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, what else? Facebook, @TheRealRukshan. See you all next time. Bye.